Aloha.
Aloha. Really glad to see everyone. So a lot of regular faces and some new faces as well. Really glad you can join today. We did circulate an agenda for today's meeting, and I will share that in the chat for us, just so we can all have it ready. For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm Douglas Lay. I'm with the County of Hawaii's recovery team and a co-chair with the resilience capacity area for the built environment. Thought it'd be good to kind of maybe do a round of introductions, if that's all right with everyone. And then we can get into some of the topics for today. We wanted to start with a couple of updates on things that are moving forward on some of our programs and county activity, but we'll be spending most of our time together this afternoon, really talking about the Food System Summit that's being planned, and really looking for everyone's contributions. So maybe let's find a really creative and efficient way to do some introductions. Again, I'm Douglas, and I will model by calling on someone else to introduce themselves. So I will ask Leslie to introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Douglas. My name is Leslie Nugent, and I work with the County of Hawaii Department of Research and Development in Food Systems. Thank you. I will call on Galen.
How's it, everyone? My name is Galen Alpine, and I am representing Hawaii's Volcano Circus and our agriculture program out on a limb, and excited to hear about the potential of the Food Summit. And I will call on Zoe Callahan.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Zoe Callahan. I'm the Revitalize Puna coordinator, and I'm super stoked about this upcoming project. And it sounds like everyone here is really into it and has a lot to bring to the table. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we can move forward together. I will pass it on to Brent. Having some trouble hearing you, Brent. There we go.
Is that better? Okay. So I don't have any expertise really, but I'm interested in food sovereignty. I believe that if for any reason the barges quit coming from Oahu or from the mainland, that a lot of people would be in big trouble on the Big Island. So anything that we can do to improve food sovereignty for this island in particular, because I live here.
Meeting is being recorded.
Thank you. Should I call on someone else? Like maybe Susie Osborne?
Aloha, mai kakou. My name is Susie Osborne, and I'm the co-chair of the Economic Revitalization Committee with Ashley Kirkowitz, also the co-founder and development director for Kuokala Charter School. I have a great interest in farm to table, healthy local food, and however we can support food systems in our community. So thank you so much. And with that, I'll call upon my co-chair, Ashley Kirkowitz.
Mahalo, aloha kākou, Ashley Kirkowitz, council member for Districts 4. Along with Douglas, he and I co-direct the Revitalize Puna initiative. And as Susie mentions, I also co-chair the Economic Resilience Capacity Area. Gonna pass it on to Paul Kukendale.
Aloha. My name is Paul Kuykendall. I am a farmer. My wife and I have a farm we're rebuilding after the flow on Lower Pauiki. We're very interested in food sustainability and in building all of our capacity to grow food for the community. I'd like to ask, let's see, Hamlin, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, aloha everyone. Tam Hunt. I'm a local green energy attorney and activist, and I'm on the board for Think Big, focused on issues on the Big Island, and the Hawaii EV Association, focused on statewide policy and local policy. I've been talking to Ashley and Janice Ikeda for a little while about various issues, including food security, and we're really excited to be involved in a food security summit, and would like to be part of the programming, et cetera, if we can. Thanks so much. I will call on Kayana Neisman.
Mahalo. My name is Kayana Neisman. I sit on the board of Ku'okala as the treasurer. I'm also interested in the Puna Food Summit, particularly around food security. Mahalo. I'll call on Glenn.
Hi, Glenn Sacco. I'm an economic development specialist working with the agricultural organizations. I'm with the county's Department of Research and Development. And I will call on Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Corley, and I'm with the Big Island Resource Conservation Development Council. And they're loosely associated with soil and water conservation councils, and also loosely associated with USDA. And I'll call on Kevin.
I'm Kevin Cashel, and I'm on many community-oriented committees and such, but I spend most of my time elbow deep in dirt, growing things, and I take care of some cows, so I'm trying to get big in the compost business. And so this all fits in real nice. And let's hear from Ku'ele Cooper.
Aloha, good afternoon. Ku'ele Kealoha Cooper, and I sit very honored to sit with Douglas as the co-chair of Built Environment for our Puna recovery. And in my life, I am a trustee of the James and Newland Kealoha Estate, and our farmlands are located in Pohoiki and Opihikau. Very lovely to be with you today. And I will call on Sylvia if you haven't gone. My apologies for being a little late. I had technical difficulties.
Aloha, everyone. I'm sorry, my throat is very bad today. I'm Sylvia Dolina with Puna Rising Entrepreneur Hub. Mahalo. I will call on, let me see who else hasn't gone. Tim Delaney.
Aloha, everybody. My name is Tim Delaney. As you can see, I'm a filmmaker located in HPP. I'm interested in all the topics we're going to address today. Be happy to help get the word out in any way I can. Thanks. Anybody else that hasn't gone? Susie Osborne?
I've gone.
Yes. Maybe Sarah, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. Aloha, everyone. My name is Sarah Freeman. I'm also an economic development specialist at Department of Research and Development, focusing on food systems and food access. And I'm here to provide support and however works best for this group in the development and execution of the Food Summit. Thanks for having me. And I'll pass it to Patty. I don't think Patty's gone yet.
Hi, I'm Patty Pinto. I'm with the Kilauea Recovery Team. And I'm going to pass it on to Sylvie Katz. We can't hear you, Bill.
Hey, Bill, if you haven't had a chance, I think your audio is kind of challenging. Well, just to help us move forward, Bill Hansen with our County Civil Defense Agency. Thanks for joining us, Bill. And I believe Rebecca hasn't gone.
Aloha kako. My name is Rebecca and I'm with Kalani Retreat Center, one of the hubs with Vibrant Hawaii. I also sit on the East Hawaii chapter board of the Hawaii Farmers Union United, and living in Puna, very interested in sustainable food systems. Mahalo.
And can I ask Gary Rosenberg to please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Gary Rosenberg. I'm a regenerative farmer in Curtistown and building hopefully a replicable hub, trying to train young people in producing local food and creating leaders to transition to a local economic model and a local food model, and concentrate resources to be able to produce natural capital in the form of animals, biology, seeds, and keiki plants for distribution around the island, leading to a cooperative farming model for the whole island.
Thanks so much, Gary. And now I'd like to call on what I see as Kevin I.
How's it? Yeah, my name is Kevin. I'm trying to start a farm. I'm ready whenever you are. Oh, can you hear? Yeah, so I'm just kind of, it's the first time I'm attending this meeting, so I'm just kind of seeing what's going on and see how we can help out. All right, thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for joining us, Kevin. And Bill, I'll shoot it back to you. Okay, Bill, do you hear me?
I hear you.
Great. Okay. I want to make sure that was working. Thank you.
Hey, so I'm sorry, guys. I was having technical difficulty too. So I lived in Korea for 18 years and I learned the language and the culture and stuff like that. So everybody knows, I guess, the word 안녕하세요. So 안녕하세요 doesn't necessarily mean hello. It actually means I see that you survived the night. So back in Korea, before they invented kimchi, which was based upon a pepper seed that was smuggled in from China by an aristocrat in a pen, Koreans did not have a way of preserving food in the wintertime. And so starvation was prevalent in Korea. Again, this was before our time, but it became part of their language where they would say to each other, 안녕하세요. So it has deep meaning in their culture, of course. So Hawaii was very sustainable back in the 1800s, where even back in 1848, 1849, when California grew by 500% in their population because of the gold rush, they turned to Hawaii to get food. So of course, the Honolulu Chamber of Commerce was ecstatic that they were able to sell their surplus food. So as we know, 93% of all the food that we have in Hawaii is imported now, where at one time we didn't import anything, and we were able to sustain the population here, which I understand the Hawaiian population before, during the discovery by Captain Cook, was as much as we have in population right now in Hawaii. So we've done it before, but I'll tell you what, if by chance the supply chain fails, either because of war or because of another thing like COVID, we would be probably saying 안녕하세요 to each other.
Thank you, Bill, for that. Recounting that part of your time in Korea and what it meant for you. Couple more folks. I'd like to ask Vic and Sin.
This app always renames
me. I'm Victor Candle, the Mass Transit Administrator for County of Hawaii. And I'm not here in that capacity. I'm here in a personal interest in the Puna District and food supply and my love for farming and planting and learning.
Yeah, welcome. Great to have you. And now there's a phone number, an 854-1225. If you could please introduce yourself. Okay. If you have a chance to connect later, we'd love to kind of meet you and know who you are. But I think that covers us all. Anyone I might have missed who didn't get a chance to introduce themselves? Oh, yes. Thank you. Kathy, please close us out.
Kathy Weber, Taste of Puna president, helping local artisans have opportunities to sell their products, many of which have food products. And so I've been helping out with many of the different committees with this group, and I look forward to the Food Summit.
Excellent. Thank you, Kathy. So I think we're all really excited to be able to focus in on the opportunities to come together on the Food Summit and the work that would come from it. I will be really brief in some of the other updates. You know, we're at a point right now with our recovery program. We've all been working really closely and watching and waiting in terms of the restoration of roads and water lines to the Puna Makai region. On November 3rd, FEMA published a final environmental assessment and produced what they call a finding of no significant impacts. This enables us to be able to plan to get the construction started for the roads and water lines, Poho'iki, Highway 137, and in and around Four Corners. So a couple things. We've cleared the environmental assessment. Now we're waiting to hear back for FEMA to provide the county what's called the notice to proceed. You know, that basically things are good, you know, get the project going. But along all these weeks and to this day, the County Department of Public Works and the Department of Water Supply have been working to finalize the design and get ready for construction procurement. And so we're back on track in that respect, even as we wait for the final notice to proceed from FEMA. You can check our website, recovery.hawaiicounty.gov for timelines and things if you're interested. But really, we can expect construction to begin after procurement in early 2024. So it's been a long time coming, and we're really glad to be at this place right now. It means a lot to, I think, all of us, and then the hundreds of thousands of people who are on this call tonight too. The last piece is, you know, we launched several grant programs just last month for our Kilauea Recovery Grant Program. We've been working through a pretty healthy amount of applications. We were at a place of making decisions and announcing them today. But just if you are an applicant or you know someone who is an applicant, we need a little bit more time to close out the review and decision process. So appreciate your patience and understanding. We expect to make announcements closer to December 1st, if not earlier. But I just wanted to kind of let folks know, because I know that was a timeline that we had put out from the beginning of the process, and are just requesting a bit more time. Patty on our team has been kind of a rock through this whole process and have supported a lot of grantees through this effort as well. So I just want to acknowledge and thank Patty for all of her hard and caring work too.
Mahalo, Patty.
Yeah. With that, I'd love to hand it over to Ashley Kirkowitz to bring us into focus on the Food Summit work.
Thank you, Douglas. Aloha, everyone. Great to see all of you. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. This group meets monthly, where we talk about a number of ways in which we can support our community and building capacity, increasing a sense of agency, but also helping to build economy and economic resilience. Over the last year and a half, 2 years we've been meeting, there's been a real interest in how we might grow literally, more food in the region, but also just increase in interest in growing food, producing it not just at an individual household or neighborhood level, but at a community-wide level, and the kind of infrastructure that might be needed, whether it is setting up a business or the physical infrastructure of processing goods, what is needed to really make that a reality in our Puna community. And so we've talked about how we might bring a lot of folks that are actually doing this work, our farmers, and then folks that support our farmers, like folks that create policy or folks that, provide different funding and financing tools to make this stuff happen. Bring everybody together for a summit where we could talk about ideas, but then also go on a variety of huaka'i to see a lot of this work in action. And so we dreamed up this idea of convening not just one, but I think a series of food summits that kick off in 2024. I think there's so much that we could potentially pack in over the course of a few days, but it really made a lot more sense of spacing it out throughout the year so that there could be an ongoing connection and collaboration and focus on how we might better support those that are interested in doing something in our food space. I'm going to take 1 second to share with you my screen to go over a preliminary vision that has been developed for our food systems. Again, this is just a starting point, but something that we're hoping that we can share with all of you and refine over our course of time together tonight and over the course of this work. But the vision being our food system in Puna is sustainable and resilient with a variety of agricultural enterprises found throughout the region. There is necessary infrastructure for processing and creation of value-added products, ensuring ample supply of food. The abundance of locally grown and produced food not only fuels the health and well-being of our community, but is a vital source of security and nourishment during times of crisis. Our agricultural activities thrive at all levels, from school and home gardens to commercial ventures. Every resident plays an active role in contributing to and supporting our local food system. I'm going to go ahead and drop in our chat a link to this document, because what it also identifies is places in our islands, folks, organizations, communities that are doing the work of providing for themselves, providing for their communities successfully. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There are ways in which we can learn from others, adopt it to make it work for our region. We also want to hear from you in terms of the kinds of presentations that should happen at our summit. Things like farm to school initiatives, home gardening instruction, how we might engage and support the next generation in taking up this really hard but important work. And if there are specific individuals or groups that you would like to hear from, we also want to hear from you. So I'll go ahead and drop that link in the chat. And what we're hoping to do over the next, I don't know, I think 30 minutes would be sufficient, but let me know if we need a little bit more time. We'll give everybody 30 minutes and then we'll do a temperature check. We'll break everybody out into 4 breakout rooms. That way we can have more intimate conversations, but we're hoping that you can weigh in on the vision and then identify operations that you would like to look at, folks you want to hear from, and what exactly you would like to discuss and learn more about at these summits. Happy to take any questions or comments before we move into breakout rooms.
I do have a quick question, Ashley. Tam Hunt. Yeah, I live in Puna, so great to see a Puna focus. I'd love to see an island-minded focus, though, before too long. Is that in the works, or are you planning to focus on Puna for now?
I think what we're going to do for now is focus on Puna. This project is being supported by the Revitalize Puna initiative. And again, that is to support the entire region's recovery following the 2018 eruption. So initially a focus on Puna, but we certainly welcome other communities to collaborate and do something similar in their areas. And I am aware of, and maybe Sarah or Leslie can speak to this, but there are island-wide convenings, food summits that do take place by, I think, Hawaii Island Food Alliance. Sarah, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, in partnership with the county. And we are hoping to do a larger in-person one. Because of the pandemic, we are doing more kind of dispersed events and haven't had a full in-person one since 2019. So we're hopeful to have a full in-person one next year. But I'm really supportive of these regional summits because I think that's really important. And and brings a lot to the table of moving things forward. So I'm really happy that you guys are doing this.
Thanks,
Great,
Sarah.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, link to the doc that I just shared on my screen is in the chat. So everyone has power now to contribute to that document as a commenter. What we're hoping is that once the breakout session is done, folks can come back and you've identified a person to kind of speak on behalf of the group to give a very high level report back. We'll give you like maybe 3 to 4 minutes to do that. And then we can talk as a group about next steps and actions, and most importantly, the time frame for when we launch our initial summit in 2024.
So thank you, Ashley. I've been able to set up the rooms for everyone, but in case it blows up, then fair warning. I will say though, I think we do come together, and our whole collective focuses on convening individuals and actors kind of in Puna and for Puna. But of course, a big part of kind of supporting Puna is also resources that are outside of our community too, coming in kind of in allyship, bringing expertise, bringing networks. So I really encourage everyone to think with that in mind as well. And it's great that there's a lot of folks who are tapped into those networks with us here today to be able to contribute that. I've tried to kind of provide a number of our staff and also some of the co-chairs in each of the rooms. So I don't think we prepped anyone for this, but please see yourselves as like conversation starters and to restate kind of something Ashley asked for. Yeah, we'd love to hear a report out from everyone at the end of it. So please be prepared to do so. Okay, so I'm going to put everyone in breakout rooms now. See you in a little bit.
Hello, am I muted or not muted?
We hear you, iPhone.
You're doing great, Jenny.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope I was managing things in the main stage, but Ashley, did you want to kind of walk through report backs?
Wow, I just have to give credit to my incredibly engaging group. Tam Hunt was with us, Leslie Nugent, Tim Delaney, Kevin Kushel, and Sylvia Dolena. We had really awesome conversation. You can track all of our comments in the shared Google Sheet, but just at a really high level, folks are on board with the vision. One thing that we wanted to see a little bit more emphasis on was economic development, food for long-term security and resilience, and adding a date like 2030 where we see ourselves sort of realizing this vision. That way we know how much time we have to work towards something. We also talked about what we wanted to do in terms of having additional panels and presentations. So more support for small business development, ways that we can preserve food, all different funding opportunities, not just from the USDA, adding things like hemp and bamboo cultivation to the list. We also thought it was important that if policy change needed to happen, that there were specific conversations about legislative advocacy at the county, state, and federal level. Intentional efforts around planting food trees, adding a track to discuss mulching and composting, education around invasive species mitigation and dealing with pests. And then I know that some people really just want to go beyond an all plant diet. So talking about fishing, wildlife, livestock, and how we can do what we can do to just ensure that there are proteins available as part of our daily diet. And then we had a number of folks that we added to the list in terms of who we want to hear from. Folks like Smiley Burrows, who has very successfully grown an abundance of food in the Puna region, but also inviting folks even maybe from like our Korean sister city, inviting experts like Bill Hansen to talk about those techniques. And then on the Kona side, there is a really successful community gardens operation that also does a variety of like vermiculture, composting techniques that we would want to, hear more from. So we've added quite a bit to the list. What we also did was identified some of the top things that we would want to kind of learn about and do as part of the first summit. So that's been added to the comments. And in terms of structure and flow, we're looking at 1.5 day event, 2 to 3 panel presentations, but there being not just time to learn, but also discuss, get our hands dirty, work in INA, and then everybody leaving understanding the kinds of commitments and actions they can take in their roles. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Great job, everyone. How about a report back from group? I'm calling it room 2, but you have no idea what room you were in. Zoe, Susie, Sarah. Yeah.
Sarah's going to report back for us.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. So one of the things that we really touched on is that we want to make sure that the summit is, we want to reach as many people as possible. And even if they're not able to attend, and strategize ways to lift various folks' voices into this process and into the summit, whether that's going to various farmers markets or farm stands, or so finding a dissemination strategy is to be very inclusive of this process. Another thing we talked about in North Kohala, we did a ag visioning event, or the county supported with that. And through that process, we did a SOAR analysis, looking at the strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. And it was divided into 7 different areas of land, water, energy, food access, farmer wellness, housing, and production. And each of those did SOAR analysis in these processes, and we followed up. So there was a request to share that framework and what we did. So I will share that out with the organizers, do with it what you will. But that is a process that we utilize there. Something else just brought up, which is that importance of, it's great having speakers and panels and those educational opportunities, but really leading to like having a lot of engagement through those processes, so people feel really a part of what's happening. And also including having different service providers available at the events to better connect people. Another thing that really came up is having activities that better connect buyers to producers through those pipelines, because often producers have a challenge identifying adequate buyers. And there are good models of different presentations about also educating our panels towards buyers, how they could be better partners with local producers. Did I miss anything, Susie? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah and team. Now I'd like to ask someone from room 3. I see Brent and Chris and Glenn.
You always make me follow Sarah. She talks about a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so our group, we kind of just put it out there and everybody just shared their thoughts. And one of the first issues that came up was dealing with insurance, liability, the cost of liability insurance for large landowners who want to break it up or make it available to tenant farmers, and they in turn need to get liability insurance. So looking at ways how they can reduce the cost so that these producers can grow the food in that area. Another thing that came up was, connecting the markets with the producers. And one of the suggestions was that producers need to look at the markets first before they grow things, and have communication with their markets to make sure that the markets can take their products, and that you want to try to feed the local population first. let's see here. Or, look at other ways to sell your products, such as pre-selling your products, working with programs such as a CSA or something like a clearinghouse, similar to the Ho'ola's Emily Emmons group in their working with local producers, having it available online, and then you select the products you want, and when you drive up to the Puna Honganji, they drop it in your trunk and you just drive off. Other things that came up was the need for some panels to talk about just starting with the basic home gardening. The thought was that every house should have a garden in the back. My wife likes green onions. I've got like 15 pots of green onions, because when she wants a green onion, I got to go out there and get it for her, and I'm not going to run down to the supermarket. So something as simple as green onions for these Oriental households. Just as a starter. And then other things such as, sorry here. So they're looking at, small scale farming in the Puna area. They talked about certified kitchens. That's an issue that's going to come up later on. How to get greenhouses. Let's see here. So the concern was, can the county and the state help support commercial kitchens, perhaps through low-cost loans, since everybody wants a grant, but that's not always available. Setting up co-ops for small farmers so that they can marshal their products together. And let's see here. And other ideas as far as getting products to consumers, such as a Craigslist type of program or Facebook groups to sell the products and to share information. And then another issue that came up was regarding the water, having the need for county water to wash vegetables, and also the need for perhaps a centralized processing plant in Puna. Thank you. Unless my group has anything else they want to add.
Hi, Dave. I see your hand raised. Do you have a quick thing to add before we move on to the last group? You're muted, Dave.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just quick from that last comment about the water. He mentioned something about the county and state somehow maybe helping. Well, there ought to be a way to get water that's not county water. If there was modern purification systems that could be certified. Is there any thoughts on that?
Sarah, you're a FSMA certified instructor or coach. You have any comments on that, colleague?
I'm not sure as far as different kinds of treatment systems and what that triggers as far as being able to wash or process. I'd have to ask somebody else. It just usually with FSMA compliance, it has to be a certain water source, but I can look into different filtration systems and what that could mean. It usually also just means like how often you have to test your water and things like that. So I'm sure there has to be a certifiable protocol in treatment. It's just that if it's from county water, then it's much simpler. So
Right, there's just a whole lot of people for whom county water is not available.
Yes, correct. Me either. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Sarah. Could we hear from the last group? That was Bill and Galen, Gary, Patty.
Hey, Doug, really quick. Denver IT guys are over here right now at Civil Defense. They're going to be doing some testing of the system. They said it might glitch our meeting. It's a possibility. Okay, just let you know.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hi, we had kind of a wide-ranging conversation. We talked a lot about the importance of networking with small farmers. But then we ran into, we don't really know what are the regulations and laws and codes ordinances regarding selling and using our homegrown produce. And it would be really good to know all of that. And are there legislative aids that could help it be more available? Are there things that we should be looking at to change? Are there codes? The sunlight that falls on our property, is our neighbor allowed to grow plants that would block our sunlight, our growing area? We don't know what will happen in the future, and what if the supply chain stopped? Should we think about a scenario where we lost our ability to get imported food for a year? How will we get by? And then make a plan and start to work forward with that. We talked a lot about water and drought, different ways of solving water issues, ordinance and code changes, perhaps for using your house's gray water. Right now, I believe the code is that you have to bury your gray water tank, which anybody who lives in Puna knows is not an easy thing. And that be changed. Should we have more reservoirs to help in the event of a drought? Should the county and the state be investing in more reservoirs on our own? We looked at certified kitchens, and Mary brought up that schools have certified kitchens. Is there some work we can be doing to break that barrier between DOE and this other way? A very interesting avenue of possibility of there being emergency proclamations that would loosen some restrictions on produce being distributed during an emergency. Did I miss anything, guys?
Maybe one more, Patty. That was like that concept of a car in every garage, 2 chickens in every pot, with the idea of every household has a fruit tree. Galen was talking about the ulu tree. It could be an avocado tree. It could be a mango tree. But if you have like 45,000 houses on the island and each one has a fruit tree, that's 45,000 more trees than we would have had, which means that's that much more food to sustain ourselves on the island.
Thank you, Patty, and thank you, Bill, and the team for those updates. Ashley, would you like to close this out with next steps, and then we can transition over to the last agenda item around community discussions?
Yeah, of course. So proposed next steps are organizing this wealth of information that has come in from today's brainstorming session. At some point next week, we will circulate an updated document that reflects all of the mana'o that has been shared here, and then also propose some priorities for the first summit that we're looking to have happen in Q1 of next year, most specifically March of 2024. So again, we'll pitch based on what we've heard here, topics that are priority and different experiences. I'm proposing a meeting in December, probably the second Thursday instead of the third Thursday, because that's venturing too close to the Christmas holiday. But folks that want to be part of the core organizing team, which is coordinating a lot of the back end logistics for an event like this, inviting speakers and whatnot. We want you to be involved. And then we also want to make sure that we're having a discussion around how we are going to outreach, network, and engage with folks that are actually doing the farming work in our community. We want to make sure that we are elevating those voices. And then finally, we can discuss if it's, pertinent to be doing some kind of survey that gauges the opportunities and challenges that farmers are facing, as well as individuals that would like to get into farming, but they may see barriers. And I think that kind of survey could be helpful in prioritizing what we do in future summits. So we'll send out more information next week with an invitation to connect with co-chairs to organize our summit in March 2024. With that, Douglas, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce folks to do community announcements. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. So we wanted to save some time. There's a couple of groups represented, but very specifically wanted to open the floor to Sylvia from Puna Rising to give an update on the Entrepreneur Hub.
Thank you very much. And I apologize for my voice. I hope you can hear me okay. Right now, the Entrepreneur Hub is in phase 2. And phase 1 was to set up all of the infrastructure, the website, and resource pages. Phase 2 is to then put out the message that we're inviting entrepreneurs to the program in order to assist them in creating new businesses or restarting existing businesses. So we had the application process. We're in the process of qualifying the entrepreneurs. They've had an orientation on the program, and based upon the orientation, we have asked them to opt in. So far, we have 27 people that have opted in, and excuse me, we have interviews and then the selection process scheduled, and we'll be doing an assessment. Sorry. Then in the beginning of the year, we'll do the education of onboarding, personal development, business training, business planning, business marketing, and then business launch. The program will end approximately July 31st, 2024. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sylvia. I think great job, Puna Rising team. I guess for the group, are there ways to still get involved, or is the cohort kind of forming and kicking off?
We are forming. We've closed registration. However, if we don't qualify enough, we have openings for at least 35 people. We're going to qualify 10 to go through the full program, but we can manage 35 total people to do the self-help, to attend the trainings, to attend the events, and to be part of the group.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, please keep us posted if the program does open up, and we'll definitely help get the word out. Yeah. Yes, Robert. You're muted, Robert.
So I just wanted to add that I had sent to the leadership of the Economic Build team the video of the Zoom session that Sylvia gave. And it was such a strong presentation that it just thoroughly convinced me that this kind of boots on the ground operation is what's going to change the economy. It's really dealing with individuals and getting their businesses up and having that, and then having that impact of their success, how that can mushroom out. And I'm sure there's applicability to us, the amazing conversation I was just heard in terms of your report about the food hubs and agriculture. So it was, I strongly, if anyone wants to see that orientation session, I could send it out to other people, but it was just a very strong, inspiring opening. Thank you.
Excellent. So I don't know if there was any other kind of upcoming big events for the community that folks wanted to share in the few minutes we have left.
We have the Pahoa Holiday Parade on December 2nd, and we're actively seeking participants. You can get an application at the Pahoa Lava Zone Museum, which is next to Ning's, and the entry is in the parking lot of Kaleos. And I'd love to see a Resilience Action Committee group march. I think that would be great, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you for the announcement, Kevin. Great reminder. Galen, I see your hand up.
We are currently hosting our fall micro farm tour series in Kalapana Seaview. And we had the first farm tour last Monday. And for the next 3 Mondays, we're doing micro farm tours so people can learn from our local experts as to how to grow food specific to our microclimate here in Lower Puna, but also applicable tricks and tips for all sorts of climates. And if you're interested in that, you can check us out on a limb on Facebook or Seaview Performing Arts Center for Education. Hawaii's Volcano Circus has the information on that. Mahalo.
Excellent. Thanks, Galen. So unless there's anything else, I'd be really happy to close out and just thank everyone for showing up for this really important issue that affects each and every one of us and our families. I think one thing I'd like to suggest is, instead of what would be our normal third Thursday regular kind of meeting, it sounds like there's really energy around doing a follow-up specific to the Food Summit. And so we'll huddle up and figure out what that date looks like, probably the 2nd or 3rd week of December. Please stay tuned. We'll try to kind of make sure we get the word out to everyone who showed up today, but we'll also kind of spread the word more widely through our channels, which is probably how a lot of you all heard about today's reminder for the meeting. Sounds good? So kind of a break in December, but not really a break, more of like a refocus. Yeah. Excellent. Well, it was a real pleasure. Have a good evening, everyone, and we will all talk soon. Take care. Ahui ho.
Bye.